In a recent interview with the New York Times, Christopher Nolan did not mince words when it comes to Hollywood and how they're dropping the ball. He said taking a leap of faith is the key to success. Tell that to Adam last week at the casino when he put it all on red. Lost everything. Nolan went on to say that directors should not be afraid to try bold and untraditional creative choices out of fear. He went on to say audiences appreciate and enjoy movies that take some risks. They're not the basic paint by numbers crap. I'm of course, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. Take chances, be different, risk it. He thinks a lot of these companies are playing it way too safe. They're afraid to take risks, and that's why they're not getting audiences to go to the theaters anymore. You want to hear my take? Christopher Nolan's a fucking idiot. That might be a bit harsh. Christopher Nolan is an amazing director. He's made some of my favorite movies of all time. Not only did he do the Dark Knight trilogy, which is fantastic, Inception, Interstellar are freaking bangers. I love Interstellar. Don't sleep on that one. The Prestige. The man creates magic in order to figure out one of the most basic fucking magic tricks of all time. It's ingenious. Dunkirk slaps. Tenet's confusing, but also pretty cool, actually. And then, of course, Oppenheimer, which did huge numbers thanks to Barbie, piggybacking off of that momentum of Barbenheimer. Here's the deal, though. I don't actually agree with him. I would love if what he was saying was actually true, but it's not. Let me say it this way. It's true for some of the audience, but if we actually look at some of the biggest movies to come out in the last decade, I got bad news for you, bud. They're sequels, they're remakes, they're rehashes, they're requels, they're prequels, they're fuckwels, they're stupid. They are wash, rinse, repeat, recycled films that the audience have seen time and time again, often with no original thoughts in their bones. We don't have to look very far to see what Disney's doing. They've come out with so many of their classics as live-action reformats. Half of them are still fully animated like The Lion King. That piece of shit Lion King from a few years back grossed over $1.6 billion. It's in the top 10 or 15 highest grossing films of all time. And you're telling me audiences want new and original? They put a fresh coat of paint on an already great film and use that nostalgia magic to get people into the theaters. Lilo and Bitch just did over $1 billion not that long ago. We have a live-action Moana coming out. Granted, that one might not be the best example. I don't think it's trending to do too well, but I wouldn't be shocked if it did too well. Because kids love that crap and parents love taking them out to that crap because it gets them off of their tablet at home for a few hours. Moana 2, which was just a repurposed Disney Plus set of episodes, that made a ton of money and it was mediocre as all crap. They have a Minions movie coming out in a couple days. I guarantee you that film sniffs $1 billion. Mario 2, $1 billion almost. Top Gun Maverick was massively successful. It's a sequel to a film that came out like 30 or 40 years ago. And it's basically just the same movie, but much, much better. I loved Maverick, don't get me wrong. But let's not act like people are going to movies for new and original thoughts. It's actually the opposite. You could say new generations want to see that and are willing to pay money to go out and see that. Of course they are. Just recently talked about two great examples with Backrooms and Obsession. They did great numbers. But there are also a large portion of movies that go completely unnoticed that are original and new and aren't sequels or remakes that bomb at the box office because they got no marketing push behind them, or people just weren't interested in risking a $15 to $20 movie ticket purchase on something that's going to be artsy or miserable or boring or whatever. The harsh truth is, the harsh reality is, a lot of people can barely pay their bills. So it is a risk to go out to watch a new movie. However, going to Sonic 4, that's an easy buy. They know Jim Carrey's gonna be hilarious. They know Sonic and his friends are gonna spin around and some slow motion's gonna take place and there's all these explosions and it's entertaining. That's an easy purchase. That's why animated movies in general typically do very good numbers, because the whole family goes out for them. It's the one time a month or every 4 months or maybe once a year that they go out to watch a film. So yeah, Toy Story 5, that's the one they're gonna see. Or Minions and Monsters, which comes out this weekend. Sure, wheel out Graham's dusty bones so she can have one final experience at a moving picture theater before she croaks. We better be in that goddamn will. It's almost like the exact opposite, I would say. Anytime it's a brand new IP, it makes headlines everywhere because it's shocking that people went out to support it. Holy crap, this movie no one's ever heard of made a bunch of money. People actually go out to theaters still. It's not news when a Fast and the Furious film makes $500 or $600 million. That's just a day at the races. It is news when K-pop Demon Hunters comes out of nowhere on Netflix and trends #1 for like 6 months straight or whatever, and then even gets a theatrical release because it was so high in demand for one. I think Christopher Nolan is kind of the exception to the rule. He's speaking on behalf of himself. Inception, Interstellar, Memento, The Prestige. Yes, these are all original ideas as far as I know. But his success stories are not really anyone else's. Again, you do get a Project Hail Mary that will come out and do good numbers, but unfortunately, as much as I would love to see films like Project Hail Mary do even better, we have to contend with the fact that audiences just are not going to take those risks that often. That is until Hollywood, I think, can prove to us that they are going to put out banger after banger when it comes to these original films. That's the other part of it, is there are just a lot of films that drop the ball and miss the mark. So it's kind of tainted people, I think, on taking those risks and going out and watching new stuff. The other massive issue is everything comes to streaming so quickly. Nolan's one of those guys, so is Tom Cruise. They've both stated a bunch of times, like, keep our shit in theaters longer. The faster you put it out on digital, the faster people leave the theaters. And you're building up this mentality of, why would I go spend $20 a person to go sit in a room with a bunch of strangers that smells and is sticky when I can wait 5 or 6 weeks and watch it at the comfort of my own home on my big screen TV with surround sound? It makes no sense. But if you give them a 6-month or 1-year push out date, then yeah, you are going to get people out to the theaters more often because they want to see what everyone else is talking about. They don't want to miss the hype or miss the boat. Obsession, though, already out on digital. It just came to theaters 6 weeks ago. People are still talking about it like crazy, so no one really feels like they miss out much on that conversation. These are things that need to be corrected in order for people to do what Christopher Nolan wants and support original films again. Or he can just direct them all and put his name on them. Then they'll probably do better. All right, let me know your thoughts with Nolan. Do you agree with him? People are just yearning for new stuff to challenge them and make them go out to the films? Or are people inherently kind of sheep and stupid and want the same fucking Big Mac meal they've had for 25 years? I'm a little bit more jaded than Mr. Nolan is. I wish I was wrong though, and maybe you agree with him. Let me know in the comments below. Please like the video and sub if you haven't. I post movie content on a daily basis. Would love to have you stick around. All right, hope to see you next time. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you didn't know, this is a one-man situation here, and I have a full-time job and family. Please think of joining me on Patreon at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies, like these fine people have. What you're seeing right now are the gold and silver members. There's also a bronze membership at only $1, and with all these, you get access to over 300 exclusive videos, and if you support at these higher memberships, you get the shout-outs, plus you get an exclusive video every single month. But any support you can give me is greatly appreciated, and I hope to see you there.